This is Jemal. Let's take a look at some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on as you build one of these, in this case a race engine. This is our Sprite long rod, billet bottom end, all kinds of trick bits. This thing's for a Sprite track car for our friend Carlo. Let's take a quick look here. We've got the bottom end together. We went through quite a process to get all the rod, bolt, stretch values correct. We torqued it a number of times and arrived at a very happy assembly at the moment. Over here it's a chance to have a look at the camshafts. The race cams on the right. This is a big duration, big lift. You can take a look at the shape of the lobes. This left one here is a 103, a great street performance. This is Mini Mania's 103 grind. And over here we can see this particular one, something like a 306 race. And this lobe profile results in a lot of overlap, a lot of duration, and a lot of lift. With our 1.5 rockers, this is going to have about a little over ½ an inch of lift, but when we take into account our clearances, just under, probably about 497, 498 or so of lift at the valve, which is really a nice number to give us durability. One of the interesting things about cams, you wonder why you can't grind them so many times. This one on the left is a regrind from a Metro. So you have some room to make the base circle smaller and result in a bigger lift. You can reprofile each lobe and then reheat treat it. This one on the left is a brand new blank, and we can see it's one of these that has been drilled for oil passages. So it has a pressurized oil feed that will provide additional lubrication to the lifters, which has become a bit critical with modern oils during break-in. But we can see here some of the limitations, crankshaft, the way cams have to be ground. This first lobe here, this is the #1 exhaust, depending on which end you're looking at, I guess. But you can't make it any higher than the bearing journal here, otherwise you won't be able to install the cam through the bore. So your limit here is that this lobe has to be lower than the bearing bore, and so then you have to go small. This is, as a brand new blank, still has been ground to a very small base circle. And what's interesting about this cam, chance to have a look here at, look at how these lobes are made. It kind of mushrooms out and becomes a lot wider at the base here for the lifter to go around. Look at the 103 grind on the left, a street cam. That lobe's pretty much uniform. It doesn't really get a whole lot bigger as you go around the base circle. But you can noticeably see how this cam on the right side with the oil passages, even though it's got a small base circle, even as a brand new cam, look at the width here, how the lobe gets wider as you go around the base circle to provide additional durability. You can't go bigger than the lifter because you got to have it to where it'll spin. So again, limitations of design, trying to arrive at something that works with the architecture of the engine and yet deliver the performance that we're looking for. So we're going to put this cam into the engine. We're going to get it timed at the optimum number. In this case, the paperwork says 106. We're going to study that a little bit in combination with our valves and springs. Our head's sitting over here. We're due to work on the porting here. We're going to hand blend all of these things after the machine work was done to install our huge valves. You can see our 1.44 intakes over here with our 1.22 exhaust. These are rim flow valves where the stem is narrower, not to impede the airflow in the port. So we'll go ahead and put some of these juicy bits inside the engine, but one last look while they're out here nice and clean on the desktop. We've got our lightweight steel timing set here. This allows a measure of cam adjustment, so we'll dial this in for the optimum performance we're looking for. Alright, back to work on it.